Hi, I'm your host, Patty and Rada with HIMSS. Thank you for taking time to be here today. We have an exciting program for you, but before we get started, I would like to highlight a few things so you know how to participate in today's event. At the bottom of your screen are multiple application engagement tools you can use. All the engagement tools are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your desktop space. If you need technical support during today's event, click the question mark icon in the navigation menu at the bottom of your screen to find answers to frequently asked questions, or you can type your question in the Q&A widget to the right of the media player. You can use the same box to submit questions to the speakers at any time, and if we don't get to your questions today, we'll follow up with you offline. Engage with today's content and let us know how you're feeling with the emoji reactions. If you miss anything, don't worry, you'll receive an email within 24 hours with a link to the on-demand recording when it becomes available. So now let's get started with today's program, Building a Comprehensive MedTech Integration Strategy, sponsored by InterSystems. I'm Patty Enrado, Director of Content Development for HIMSS, and today I'm joined by Daniel Franco, Senior Manager, Healthcare Data Platform for InterSystems. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you for having me here.
So HIMSS Market Insights conducted this research sponsored by InterSystems in April and May of 2025 among leaders in MedTech organizations to understand their perspective on integration solutions and efforts. We looked at key factors and primary drivers in selecting, adopting, or migrating to integration solutions, challenges organizations face when implementing integration solutions, and most valuable integration architecture approaches and preferred deployment models. So the research was conducted among executives, IT, technology, strategic, product management, data and digital transformation, research and development operations, and engineering leaders, managers and above in MedTech organizations in the United States. A total of 100 qualified respondents took the survey. So 22% are in IT, 20% are in executive leadership job functions, 38% are directors or system directors, 50% are technology providers, 27% are service providers, and 23% are med device equipment manufacturers. 34% have 15,000 or more employees, and 25% have more than $10 billion in annual revenues. So now let's dig deep into our findings. So the ability for accurate, consistent, and quality data across integrated systems is the top factor organizations look for when considering integration solutions. So Daniel, are there other things, particularly at the bottom of the list, that organizations need to pay attention to and not dismiss?
Yeah, Patty, this is a hard question because everything here is important. But while data accuracy and security are rightfully at the top of the list, I think organizations are overlooking other factors. For example, integration with clinical workflows received the highest number of priority votes, 18%. This demonstrates that healthcare leaders know how crucial workflow alignment is. But in the bottom of the chart, you can see reliability and data processing speeds. I don't think good clinical integration is possible without reliable performance in real data throughput. As a metaphor, it's a matter of putting a lawnmower engine under a Formula One race car with perfect aerodynamics, but without reliability and speed, you never reach the finish line. If medtech companies prioritize clinical workflow integrations at the expense of process, reliability, and performance, the results will be products that underperform in practice, and they will compromise mission-critical pipelines that might impact patient care. So these are very important factors that might be taken for granted here. True clinical interoperability success, in my opinion, means balancing data accuracy, workflow alignment, and high-performance integrations together as a system, not as a standalone priority.
So smaller organizations are more likely to rank data security compliance and vendor support as a top factor. So while larger organizations and those with more tenure are more likely to favor the ability to bridge data silos across platforms. So Daniel, what do these percentages tell us and what can we learn from them?
This question is interesting because the percentages here review these distinctive market segments with different needs, right? Security is an interesting one to dive deep, maybe. So let's take a look. Smaller healthcare companies focus more on security compliance for a few reasons. Let's say one, lack of the dedicated IT team for that. So the integration solution selected must already have easy to use and built-in capabilities to enforce and guarantee and make the application compliant to security standard. The same factor justified the needs for better vendor support for maintenance and troubleshooting. Small companies rely on their vendors to guide them to fast achieve operational efficiency. Also, the financial impact of data breaches can be devastating to small organizations, right? With the average breach costing $7.4 million in 2024, small MedTech companies cannot absorb the loss. On the other hand, large companies have more dedicated resources and teams to tackle security concerns, so they are better positioned to handle breaches. But this doesn't mean that it's not important to them, as you can see in the findings, of course, right? But another interesting insight that we can take a look at here is how large organizations prioritize bridging data silos. Big medtech companies choose bridging data silos as a top priority because their growth depends on being the connectivity tissue in a fragmented ecosystem. So, aligning multiple EHRs, devices, and external data streams to maintain relevance and win enterprise scale deals. So, here in this question, you can see two different flavors based on the size of the company, what they prioritize. But of course, security is the most important one and always will be in healthcare.
Great. Thank you so much, Daniel. So nearly 2 in 3 leaders say that security and risk management is of utmost importance when it comes to aligning with the new integration engine solution. So Daniel, we all know that security and risk will always be at the top, and rightly so. But what else should leaders focus on that are equally important?
Yes, you're right. Again, as expected, security and risk management leads at 89%, but that's absolutely justified given the threat landscape. But what is fascinating about this research? Data reveals the hierarchy of priorities being security. Regulatory compliance follows closely at 86%, reflecting the growing pressure for mandates like 21st Century Cures Act, TAFICA, and CMS interoperability rules that are pushing providers towards Firebase data exchange, for example. Now, here is where you see major change soon, at least in my opinion, Patty. Cloud adoption in AI. 1 in 3 healthcare leaders still think that cloud adoption, AI, and low-code integrations have relative low priorities. Yet, cloud-native healthcare IT spending is projected to double by 2027, often driven by security concerns. As leaders, has security as their top concern. Adopting cloud, especially managed service, and we will talk a little bit more about that, can be beneficial for hardware cost reduction and access to extra options for system security and support. Adopting cloud is also an enabler to AI in healthcare integrations, such as embedded in the workflow for operation efficiency or data exploration. With the pressure of worldwide national regulatory requirements and volume of healthcare data fast growing, the demand for scalability that cloud provides, faster integrations with new service, and AI features that systems are and will provide, it will increase for sure, Patty.
Great. So do you imagine this data looking different next year with greater AI adoption happening?
100%, Patty. It's changing right now in this second. Imagine a year from now, right? Claudine and I will rank much higher. Staffing shortage, adoption of new technology, shift from only developers that can build apps, compliance pressures, and growing data volumes are making them this essential, right? What feels like innovation today, it's already become table stakes. For example, findings that are from IDC is that 51% of providers plan to increase Gen AI this year. Imagine next year, Patty. It's going to be a lot more, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely on that. So concerns with security and privacy and legacy system compatibility are the top challenges that organizations have faced in implementing integration solutions. So again, privacy and security are clearly on everyone's mind, but what other challenges, especially those at the bottom of this list, should organizations pay attention to, Daniel?
One of the areas that deserve real attention here is scalability limitation. In my point of view, many companies are not stating that scalability is a problem, not because systems have figured this out, right? But it's a time issue to this to be considered a higher blocker, unfortunately. Currently, for example, many organizations are coming to us, to InterSystems, to change their current integration solutions to our platforms. For example, many companies created applications using Fire servers and facades to store and transform data to Fire without further analysis at the beginning, which is totally understandable. 5 years ago, companies were playing with Fire a little bit and just trying to be compliant to regulatory needs. But now this is a problem. As Fire data volumes grow and exchanging are increasing, many of these same companies are hitting technical and cost scalability limits with their initial solutions. Medical companies, for example, are coming to us because their current solution don't scale to accommodate data volumes and market requirements. That's where another topic covered in this interview becomes very important: data portability. It ensures organizations can move data to a more scalable and healthcare expert platform and to vendors that really understand your needs, the healthcare needs, without disruption. The ability to port data guarantee not only compliance, but also agility to adapt to future growth and innovation. If MedTech companies are not using systems that are designed and supported by healthcare interoperability experts, it will be only a matter of time until the organization must deal with scalability problems. And even sometimes that they are using systems that are created for healthcare, but not necessarily performant, they will have problems. So they really need to look at that as a real need into their daily work. If they want to become successful, this is one of the main factors that they need to look at, which is scalability of your current system.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So organizations most commonly prefer a public cloud development model for data management and integration solutions. So Daniel, why is that so? What are you seeing in the field? And is there a case for exploring those other models that we see here?
This is a very interesting question, and the results are intriguing. We can see a clear industry shift here. Almost 30% of the organizations are using public cloud. This is a trend not necessarily driven by only cost reduction that was in the past, but also reliability, scalability, and innovation that these platforms provide, the capabilities that they provide. But also, the EHRs are going to public clouds many times, which push other solutions like integration engines, for example, to also go to the cloud and be closer to the EHRs. Multi-cloud strategies have become the norm, giving organizations leverage in negotiations, but also add a lot of operational overhead. So multi-cloud strategy works pretty well for big companies. For small companies, this is a disaster because the operational complexity that this adds, it will kill the small companies. But here's what companies, regardless of size, forget sometimes. Cloud is not defined by the hyperscalers. Cloud is an operating model. Simply moving workloads to a public cloud without changing the fundamental of the software is a lift and shift approach, and that not necessarily will decrease your costs. Actually, most of the times, IT will likely be more expensive and still fails to unlock the agility, efficiency, and innovation that these cloud native models promise. Healthcare companies need more than infrastructure. Companies can get real value with managed service, for example, because they might address IT staffing shortage by providing specialized expertise to organizations that can't easily recruit, or improve cybersecurity resilience through 24/7 monitoring rapid response, and also deliver continuous upgrades to ensure systems to stay compliant, secure, and ready to leverage emerging new features like AI analytics capabilities without disrupting the current operations. This is why the role of managed service, in my opinion, will increase in the next years. They are no longer outsourcing. They are shared responsibility models that enable MedTechs to focus on their business while partners manage infrastructure, resilience, upgrade, security compliance, and others. Whether workloads run in a data center or in a hyperscaler, the operating model is what matters, right? So I think cloud success isn't about where it runs, but how you run. Companies that embrace managed service, in my opinion, as part of their cloud strategy will not just cut the costs, but will innovate and lead because they will be able to focus on what they're good at and at their goals as a company.
Thank you for that, Daniel. So more than 2 in 5 MedTech leaders say a comprehensive database management platform would be the most valuable approach to reaching their strategic goals. So Daniel, is this a good approach, and why or why not?
Sure, Betty. The data here shows that 43% of leaders prefer a comprehensive database management platform. I believe that is a good approach because it brings integration and data management together under one roof and allow users to build their own pipelines to prepare data, not only to analytical, but to AI ML. A comprehensive platform reduces the risk and provide consistency across the enterprise. That said, I understand why 30% still value poor integration engines and 21% leans toward microservice. These can solve immediate needs, but they don't always provide the long-term flexibility organizations need as data volumes, AI adoption, and regulatory demands grows. So in my view is this: a comprehensive platform is the right strategy foundation, but it also must be modular to facilitate integrations and easier upgrades and maintenance. Leaders want the stability of a single platform, but they also need the freedom to plug in new tools and scale as healthcare continues to evolve. The companies that succeed will be those who strike that balance using a comprehensive platform as their core while keeping the agility, to innovate around it. This is our product mindset here at InterSystems, Patty. An integrated platform, but with flexible modules at the same time.
Thank you for that. So here we are for our key takeaways from our research. Number one, organizations most commonly want integration solutions to allow for accurate, consistent, and quality data management. Number two, concerns with security and privacy top the list of challenges organizations have faced in implementing integration solutions. And number three, comprehensive database management platforms are considered the most valuable data management and integration approach for reaching their strategic goals. So, Daniel, what are your final thoughts on this research? What do you want our audience to take away from the research and our discussion?
Sure, Patty. These takeaways show how much healthcare IT thinking has matured. Data quality, security, platform capabilities are not separated priorities anymore. They are interconnected. You cannot deliver accurate, consistent data without strong security, and you cannot scale without a comprehensive platform to support it. The fact that security and privacy challenges remain at the top is a reminder that these are not just IT issues. They are business risks that require executive focus, sustained governance, and the right partners. Leaders also report facing an average of 6 integration challenges, which means success requires long-term commitments, not just a project budget. What I find most important is the strong preference for comprehensive database management platforms. Almost 50% of the leaders see this as the most valuable approach, and I agree. A unified platform must bring together integration, data management, and analytics and AI capabilities while still being open and modular. That balance gives the organization the consistency to run today and the flexibility to adapt to tomorrow. So the key takeaway for the audience here, Patty, I think is integration can no longer be managed as point-to-point connections. The organization that succeed will be those treating integration as a strategic platform capability that underpins compliance, enables innovation with graphical tools and AI to decrease development dependency and drive operation efficiency. I think in a nutshell, this is what it shows us, Patty.
Great. Thank you for that. So, Daniel, thank you for your insight into our research. So now let's take some questions from our audience. We have a couple in the queue. Our first question is, where do I go for resources to help our healthcare organization on its integration journey?
Well, this is easy because this is a normal day for me and probably for you as well, Patty. I think HIMSS, class, specific country governments, regulatory organizations like the ONC, the CMS here in the United States, or even trusted partners like InterSystems. Also, well, we cannot imagine any user today not asking questions to an AI, right? If you always ask for the source of information and validate it, you can learn a lot. This, I think, provides the foundation data that every healthcare leader needs.
We have another question in our queue. Is there a self-assessment of our needs that we can conduct?
Yeah. Beyond research, I think organizations should conduct an honest assessment of their integration regarding vendor selection, scalability, and now, of course, AI features. Are we choosing healthcare experts partner on this journey? This has a major difference in the medium long-term journey. Are we prioritizing short-term or long-term capabilities? Are the solutions selected providing security, scalability, and useful AI features, or they are just checking the boxes? I think this is important today. So starting with these 3 questions, it will give you a lot of insights where you should go or where you are going, Patty.
We have another question in our queue. How can InterSystems help us to create a more comprehensive platform?
Yeah, this is great. When it comes to tackling challenges, in my opinion, like real-time data exchange, demonstrating ROI, or filling technical skill gaps, healthcare companies overall need proven platforms and trusted expertise. That's where we come in. That's where InterSystems come in. With a platform like Health Connect, Ours for Health, HealthShare, and Data Fabric Studio with Health Module, we enable secure integration and storage of billions of healthcare transactions daily across cloud, on-prem, and managed service deployments. We embed healthcare standard support, especially mentioned to built-in file server and repositories into our comprehensive data platform, data quality tools, analytics, and AI to make the data actionable. We do all of that, all using graphical tools to democratize the classification of builders. Developers are still key and it will be always. But in the current world, they're not the only one building integrations or even healthcare applications. The healthcare organization that will thrive in the next decade are those making strategy integrations decision now, use AI to reduce operational costs, and adopt platforms that allow them to grow. So, a reliable partner is key here in this journey, Betty. But a partner, not a vendor. With the velocity of new regulations, new security needs, and how fast AI features and models are appearing, without a partner that provide a flexible and scalable solution, but also build solutions with and for you, I don't see any organization, regardless the size, being successful. Everything is moving very fast, and we need to work together more and more to get these benefits. This is why many customers are partnering with InterSystems, not just for our technology, but for the healthcare domain expertise and partnership in this journey. We can together guide our customers to prepare for the current and future challenge, Patty.
Great. Thank you so much, Daniel. It's time for us to wrap up. If we didn't get to your questions, we'll respond to them offline. We would like to thank our sponsor, InterSystems, once again for their support of this webinar. So for more information from InterSystems, you can scan this QR code that you see. I'd like to invite our audience to take our brief evaluation at the conclusion of today's event and share your thoughts with us. As a reminder, you'll receive an email within 24 hours to rewatch the on-demand recording of today's session, and it will be available in the HIMSS Resource Hub for a limited time, so feel free to come back and watch at any time. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.